Hey guys, what's up? This is Francisco with Valaristo Capital, and today we're gonna go through the weekly watch list of the names that I'm watching for next week. Just before we go into these names, remember that this is for information purposes only, and all the charts that we're gonna take a look at and the opportunities that I'm gonna mention are all based on my opinion and it's not financial advice. So now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the charts. And for the record, all of the charts that we're going to take a look at, I'm looking for these opportunities to the long side because I think that the market has already found a bottom and that we are actually in the beginning of a major turn and a sustained uptrend. Of course, that could change and we have to take it day by day, but I think that there is a really high probability that this turn is going to be supported by institutions and basically the traders that we take advantage of these moves. Now, let's first start taking a look at the Nasdaq Composite here, the ISIC ticker symbol in trading view, and you can see that we had this head and shoulders bottoming pattern here. Really strong move from the downside, right? We have a 4-day rally coming right into this declining 50 daily moving average. We actually managed to close above it. But even if we happen to get a kind of a strong move at the beginning of the week, I think that there's a high probability that there's going to be a lot of profit taking. Remember, where are we coming from? And we're coming from a 4-day rally. If we actually gap up on Monday, I think there's going to be a great opportunity if you're already long to take some profits and look for a retest of support levels in the stocks that you're trading or the indexes. Me personally, I would like to see some basing here around this area. I would like to see this 21 exponential moving average, which to catch up a little bit with price and for price to retest that 21 exponential moving average before we can go into the next level of resistance. That is going to be kind of this 14,500 level here, and then the 200 daily moving average above it. Now let's start going with the names that I have here. I have a lot of names, right? I have some names in technology. I have some names in the XME. I have some names in the XLV. I have some names with transports. And these are basically the names that I'm going to be personally looking at next week. And I'm also going to mention 3 of these names that I already have a position on. So let's first start with CRWD. So pretty interesting move here, right? We can see this bottoming pattern in action. We can see this really strong move in volume after earnings. And what I really like about CRWD is that we already got the retest of the 50 daily moving average. If you have already seen some of my past videos, that retest of that 50 daily moving average is what I really like to see in order to confirm that buyers are actually supporting the price and that we might have a change in character in the stock. So that's something that I really like about CRWD here. I like that retest of that 50 daily moving average, and I have the really strong push above it on some really nice volume. But of course, right now, CRWD is short-term extended. I'm not looking to buy CRWD here. If it wants to continue to go higher, it's going to go without me. But I prefer to wait, look for at least a test of this 8 exponential moving average, and then I'm gonna be looking for some entry positions by keeping my risk really low in case it fails. Now let's take a look at the next name. I have Nvidia. A lot of people seem to catch this one. Very amazing volume right here. We can see the pocket pivots back to back for 4 days. Really strong move all the way from the lows, pushing above everything, pushing above that 821 exponential moving average, pushing above that 200 daily moving average, and then finally pushing above that 50 daily moving average. So really strong moves here. And as you might guess, I'm waiting for that retest of that 50 daily moving average. We can see the 50 daily moving average here. I'm going to wait for this one to flatten here a little bit. Even if Nvidia goes up, kind of breaks out, I expect that there's going to be a lot of sellers in that breakout above 270. But I'm going to be really patient. Hopefully we get it, but I will be looking to buy that retest of that 50 daily moving average. That way I can keep my risk pretty low, and then I will be looking for a really strong move and a continuation higher. Now let's take a look at the next name. I have Amazon. You're going to see that a lot of these names I'm actually waiting for the same thing, right? We had a really strong move here in Amazon, 4 days up, back to back. And what I'm looking here in Amazon is actually at retest. Same thing. I'm looking for a retest of this level, kind of this 3,000 level, looking for a retest of that 50 daily moving average. And then I'll be looking to get some long positions for a continuation moving higher. And something really interesting that happened in Amazon, for you guys that follow me on Twitter, you know that I'm a fan of these quant pivot levels, which are basically based on what are the computers looking for, what levels are the computers, what levels are the algorithms looking for to find support and resistance and all that kind of stuff. And it's based all on the statistics. So I find really interesting that Amazon actually find a bottom right there at that H1, L1 support level. And there was only, I think it was, let me just pull out the statistics really quickly here so that you can see it. If we take a look at the statistics, right, we can see that for the L1 level, there was only a 17% chance that we were going to close below that level. So that's actually pretty interesting, right? You can look for entries, you can look for exits based solely on statistics, not opinions, and then you can look to set your zones and your risk reward at those levels. So actually pretty interesting, right? Just a 17.3% level is just a 17.3% probability that we were going to close below that level, and that's based on 533 samples in the weekly periods. So that's actually something pretty interesting that I found, and I wanted to share with you guys. So let me just take this out. But of course, I'm looking for that retest of the 50 for then a continuation higher. Now let's take a look at SQ. Right, Square here, or I think they changed their name actually to Box or something like that. But SQ, the ticker symbol, we can see, right, the head and shoulders bottoming pattern, really nice volume. You can see the increasing volume all the way up. Of course, we have quad witching, and that's sometimes where we get a lot of volume at the end of the quarterly expirations. But I really like here is we actually close above this breakout level, right? We actually close above the 140.60, that 138.09 level. But of course, same as the other ones, I'm looking for that retest of that 50 daily moving average. And I think that retest is going to be the real buying opportunity for most of these names. I'm not looking to chase them here. I'm looking for that retest, that is stress, that kind of a stress test that we're most likely going to get it. And I want to be just really, really patient and wait for that test of support, so that then I can set some really low risk longs in these names, and I can actually go with some size. We can see that PANW, right? PANW, a name that a lot of people are talking about. We can see this double bottom. We actually have this failed breakout here. And where we test that 50, we bounce, we retest that 50. We did not close below that 50 in that retest in any of these three tests, And now we're moving high and above, increasing volume. We close above that breakout level, and this one is looking pretty nice. If you're a breakout trader, I think that you can buy this, use this level as your exit. But me, that I'm usually looking for exhaustion, I'm usually looking for support levels. I'm gonna wait for since we already tested the 50 in this one, I'm not gonna wait for a third test of the 50-day moving average, because that's actually a low probability event. Since we already tested it twice and we already moved above it, I'm gonna be looking for a test of either the 8 exponential moving average, the exponential moving average, or the 21 exponential moving average, and that's going to be somewhere around this level right here. So that's what I'm looking forward to in that one. Looks really good. Then I have AA, which is Alcoa Corporation, and I really like this one, right? Really strong move, got a little bit extended. We can see that we have some really nice volume coming down as Alcoa was coming in. Look at this at this test. I think this actually tested the 10-week. I'm not really sure, but I think it did. But came really, really close to that 50 daily moving average. And what I'm looking at Alcoa, right, is perhaps a little bit more basing. I think that these names are going to base for a little while. They have a really strong move. I want to be patient with this. Perhaps we're going to get a close, right? We have a gap here. Perhaps we're going to get a close of this gap. I have my alert ready already. And I'm gonna be looking. I'm gonna be waiting for this one. Perhaps it goes without me, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna trust my instincts in this one. I think they're gonna base for a little bit more. I'm gonna wait for that test of that gap, and then perhaps we're gonna continue higher on this one. It's looking really nice. Now let's take a look at. I have AOSL here, another semiconductor name. Really interesting, right? And I think I have, let me see, I think I have some quant pivots here as well. Yeah, you can see that the monthly quant pivots really provide some support. And now we're moving higher into the next levels of resistance based on those quant pivots. So what I really like about AOSL is that this one was outperforming basically a lot of the other semiconductor names, right? AMD, NVDA, Oracle, a lot of those names. This one was outperforming those names. What I really like, right, we have this double bottom, we have this higher low, we kind of had already the shakeout here, and now we're moving higher, we're doing that in increasing volume, and I'm looking actually for a breakout up here, but I would love to see some pullback here into this 21 or 21 exponential moving average, 8 exponential moving average. If we get a pullback to the 50, that will be even better. And that's something that I'm looking in AOSL. I think this one is looking pretty strong, and we might get new all-time highs in this one. Now let's take a look at plug, and this one a little bit right of an underperformance from the ones that we're looking. But what I really like in plug is that we already tested the 50, right? Price already moved above the 50, some really nice volume. The 50 is starting to curl. I don't know if we're gonna get a retest here in the 50, but I think if you can get it somewhere around that 21 exponential moving average or that 8 exponential moving average, you can keep your risk really in check, because as you can see, we already tested 50 twice. We already hold that 50 twice, and I think this is ready to push above this level and test the 200 daily. But of course, I'll be looking for some kind of a pullback into that 21 exponential moving average. And now those are the names that I'm going to be watching. Those are the names that I don't have a position currently on. And now I'm going to show you the 3 names that I have in which I already have a position. So the first one here is UMP. You can see here, right, we have this really nice base. We had the breakout, kind of failing here on volume. We came back, tested this 21 exponential moving average, and now we're pushing above it. I actually got my position somewhere around this 8 exponential moving average, and I'm actually looking for a break of this flag, and I have my stop right below this 21 exponential moving average. That way I can keep my risk really, really tight. And then what I'm looking for, I'm actually looking for a move. Let me show you. I'm actually looking for a move all the way up here into this monthly quant pivot. So kind of a swing is basically a swing trade for me, as most of my trades are always swing trades here. Now let's take a look at BLNK. Really like BLNK here. You can see the 50 already curling. We kind of tested it a couple of times. Of course, we broke below it a little bit more, but now we're moving above it again. And what I'm looking in BLNK, right? I was able to get my position really close to that 21 exponential moving average, and I'm actually looking for a breakout. I'm targeting this 27 level, and I got in somewhere around this 23. So really nice risk reward for me. I was using this 50 daily as my stop, and now I can raise my stop. If we get some base in here, perhaps I will add my position somewhere around that 8 exponential moving average, and I'll be looking for a move all the way to 27 here. If you want to hold it more, perhaps we get a move to the 200. I'm actually just looking for a pop in this name. And finally, last name that I'm looking here, this one is AVGO. I really want to build a position. I really want to build a position here. If you just take a look, the market was going down. AVGO came all the way to the 200 and then basically just base here. Look at the volume. Look at this skyscrapers. This is actually pretty strong. There's a lot of accumulation going on in this name, at least for what I'm seeing and how I'm interpreting this information. And what I really like about AVGO is this test right here of the 21 exponential moving average and that 50. You can see that the 50 was acted as resistance. We broke above it. We retest that 50. That 50 acted as a support. And now I think AVGO is ready to move up. For my target in AVGO, I want to continue to build my position as close to this 21 exponential moving average as possible. And then I'm going to be looking for a move all the way up into that second level of these monthly quant pivots, somewhere around 645 to 650. So I'm actually really liking this position. The accumulation can be, you can see the accumulation here. And I think if you can grab your position as close to this 50, close to this 21 exponential moving average, you can get a really nice risk reward, basically risking 0.05 in order to make what, 6, something like that. Of course, you have to do the math there, but I really, really like this one. And this is probably my favorite position going into next week and perhaps going into the next couple of weeks, looking pretty, pretty strong. So those are the names that I have to share. Those are the names that I'll be watching for next week. I think that you have to keep a really strong watch list. Look for leaders, look for the things that don't have too much of a resistance above. Look for things that have been basing, that have some accumulation volume, and always look, even if we get a sustained uptrend, always look for those really low risk levels so that you can manage your risking small in order to make more. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope that you have an amazing end of your weekend, and I wish you the best of lucks. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I hope that you find this weekly watch list helpful. Let me know if you have some other names that I can also watch. And thank you so much, guys, again, and good luck. Thank you.